Hey everybody, Deplorable Bobby here. I wanted to make a video today, and I wanted to thank my subscribers for showing up last night on my live stream. I was surprised, to say the least, that I had a lot of new subscribers show up there, as well as some of my closer friends on YouTube, such as DM, Ashley, Dangerous Freedom, Jervis, and there's many more, and it's too many to mention right here, but you guys know who you are, and know that I love each and every one of you. I want to thank all of you for supporting me and helping me, and I have to throw forbidden information and the great dirtbag in there as well. But I have a special thanks to K. Earl Long. He sent me a very kind donation in the mail. He sends me a donation every month, and he prefers to send it by mail, which is fine with me. I really appreciate you, K. Earl Long, and I love you, brother. That's all I can say. I love you, man. But then again, Dangerous Freedom, I have to mention him again. He left me a very patriotic PayPal last night during my live stream. And Ron, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dangerous Freedom. I appreciate your support, and I value our friendship. I want to talk to you a little bit about several different topics. I'm going to start off with the political side, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Jeffrey Epstein. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty on this. Demon rats in the liberal media are in full panic mode as they begin to realize that President Donald Trump is going to win the re-election in 2020. I mean, it's crazy for these Dems to think that they can unseat Donald Trump, and maybe little bit by little bit they're coming to their senses, if they have any sense at all, which normally demon rats don't have any common sense. But you know, the demon rats have failed to find a standard bearer who can unify their broken party. You know, as recent debates showed, the party has moved to the far left as they try to placate AOC and her band of noisy progressives. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the main enemy of the old guard Democrats. But Democrats, I'm going to tell you the bitter truth, and here it is. I hope you're listening. I'm sure if there's any Democrats coming to my channel, they don't stay very long, and that's obvious by my subs. I've been getting a lot of subs from people who I questioned their loyalty, and sure enough, after they watch one of my videos, they realize that, well, I'm a Republican, a conservative, and I'm pro-life. So they unsubscribe, and that's okay with me, because I am pro-life, as is Michelle at Forbidden Information, and Stephen Corson. I've been in communication with him. He is also pro-life, and we all have pro-life channels. So if you can't handle the truth, it's time to get out of the kitchen. But here's the truth. Your constant, unending slamming of President Trump just simply is not working. Just last week, President Trump and the Republican National Committee raised over $105 million for President Trump's re-election. So I don't think that we're in very much trouble from the Democrat side of the aisle when it comes to the presidency. But here's where it gets sticky for me. And I'm sure, Ron, you'll agree with me on this, and it's about the Second Amendment being in the Democrats' crosshairs. That's a funny terminology, talking about guns. But you know, in Obama's day, he said this: Obama said, "At no point have I ever proposed confiscating guns from reasonable gun owners." Well, when I was doing my research, I should have went back and seen what he actually said, but that's what he said. But now the presumed frontrunner, who is the ex-Vice President, creepy Uncle Joe pedophile Biden, has put the entire firearms manufacturing industry in his crosshairs, so to speak. Biden said this. He said, "Our enemy is gun manufacturers and not the NRA." So he's not going to go after the NRA. He's not going after gun clubs. He's not going after individuals. What he's going to do is he's going to go after the entire manufacturing industry and try to shut it down that way. So people, don't believe nothing you hear out of these Democrats. Every bit of it is a lie, unless they're talking about confiscating guns. And then they tell the truth. See, that's the only time they tell the truth, is when they're trying to take away some of our rights. They admit to the truth. They admit to needing funding on the border. But they don't give it to us, even though it's for humanitarian purposes. But anyway, back to the firearms. You know, firearms and weapons have been the fabric of our society since the very beginning. Our independence was won with firearms. So people, it goes back a long, long way. And they're trying to take it away from us. But we're not going to let them do that. I have full faith in my patriot friends that, no, they'll never take our guns. As for me, it'll be out of my cold, dead hands. But I guarantee you the chamber will be empty, and so will the clip. But remember this now. Joe Biden said he agreed to gun confiscation. But he said he would back the guns. He would back confiscating the guns. But he said he would buy them back. He didn't want to just take them away from us. He wanted to pay us for them. Good luck with that, Joe Biden. You know, Biden said he would ban firearm sales. Get this, people. He said he would ban all firearm sales unless there was a biometric fingerprint authorization for use embedded in the trigger. How about that? So now you can open your car by touching it and showing your fingerprint. But now, in order to shoot your new gun, you're going to have biometric technology incorporated into the trigger. And how stupid is that, people? How stupid is that? But I want to talk to you now about somebody who's been in the news, and I've been watching this guy for a long, long time. He's been in my crosshairs when it comes to pedophilia, and now he's back at the forefront. 66-year-old registered sex offender and close friend of Bill and Hillary Clinton was arrested Saturday. He went before a New York federal judge on charges of sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy. The victims described in this indictment were minor girls as young as 14 years old at the time they were sexually abused. Epstein intentionally sought out minors. But people, that's what pedophiles do. They seek out the most vulnerable. Epstein exploited dozens of young girls, but he says he paid them very well for their sexual participation with Epstein and his close friends. I named a couple of his close friends up at the top of this. Epstein also said he paid his victims, and he paid them very well to go out and recruit more children for his pleasure and the pleasure of his close friends, who I mentioned above. That's just two of them. There were many. Jeffrey Epstein owns an island somewhere out in the middle of the Atlantic. I'm not really sure exactly where it is, but he has a big mansion there and he has an airstrip. He also has a jet. The jet is named the Lolita Express. The Lolita Express is his private jet that flies to New York or Great Britain or wherever he's picking up some of his loyal, close friends. He's going to bring them to the island. People, this is a pedophile island. There are no laws there. Jeffrey Epstein makes the laws. And he is a pedophile, plain and simple. And his island is used to abuse, rape, and exploit young girls. It's plain and simple. That's what his island is for. Everybody knows it. There's no secret. You know, him having his close friends there on this island only makes it clear to me that a lot of these people who I've said in the past were pedophiles. I've even called some of them pedivores. But Bill Clinton, for instance, he took the Lolita Express to Epstein Island over 26 times. Do you think he went there for his health? No. Or just to get some sun? No. He went there to rape and molest and exploit and abuse young girls. Well, as a side note, Hillary Clinton went to Epstein's Island on the Lolita Express at least 6 times. I guess that confirms what I've been saying about her. She likes little girls. She's a pedophile. And I'm going to go a step further and I'm going to say that she's a pedivore along with her friends Valerie Jarrett, Barack Obama, her husband, her daughter. All of them, people. Pizzagate is not over. Haven't heard very much about it in the past couple of months. Everybody's just sort of listened to the mainstream media, and it got pushed aside and out of the view of us Americans because they wanted to squash everything about it, and they succeeded. The enemy of America, the mainstream media, is hiding a lot of news from us. And I guess Fox has jumped on that liberal bandwagon quite a bit, and they're failing to report on these things. But people, it's still here. We still have investigations into Hillary Clinton. They still have Weiner's laptop. They have all of the information that they need to bring many, many pedophiles and pedivores to justice. When? I pray, when is this going to happen? My guess it won't happen before the 2020 election. Maybe after Trump's reelected, he'll do something. Instead of, well, you know, not instead of, because I'm very grateful that these pedophiles across America are being arrested in all these law enforcement sting operations. I'm really grateful for that. But I think I, like many other Americans, we want to see some of the big fish's heads roll. We want to see Hillary arrested. We want to see the Podesta brothers behind bars. You've got all these people, you know, on the Nexium exploitation cases. I mean, they're all pleading guilty. But you're not hearing much about them, you know. I mean, even though one was an actress and one is the heir to the Seagram's wealth, and then the other was Keith Rainier, who was a millionaire himself. So you hear about it, and then you don't hear about it. Because they're cutting deals with these people. Instead of prosecuting them for what they were arrested for, they're cutting deals. And they're not going to tell you what these deals are unless you go search it out. And to be honest with you, I don't have time to go searching out every case. But I'm going to tell you right now, the people that they're arresting are just the low levels of the corruption and the evil that these people do against our children in American society. But see, here's what I'm talking about. The DOJ in the Southern District of Indiana. See, it's in Indiana. Why can't it be in New York City or upstate New York? Wherever it is that the Clintons and the Podestas and all these people live. Why can't it be there? Why can't they be the one being arrested? I mean, here they've got a convicted sex trafficker by the name of Elijah Vines. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison. That's federal prison, so he'll do 40 years. There is no parole in federal prison, as I've said before. But he got a $10,000 fine to pay his victim in restitution. Now, I'm going to ask you, this guy has no money. Everything he had has been confiscated. He has no money to pay a fine. He doesn't make money while he's in prison. So this $10,000 fine is useless. That child will never see a dime from this man. He's going to be in prison for the next 40 years. And people, he's not going to be able to make money while he's in there. But you know, all human trafficking is wrong, no matter who you are, no matter how young or how old, male or female. Trafficking is wrong on the face of it, and it's wrong to its core. And I'm sure we all agree on that. But sex trafficking of children is at the top of my list, and I just cannot tolerate it. It makes me sick to my stomach when I think of these children. Actually, in my heart, no human trafficking, no matter who's being trafficked, it shouldn't be tolerated. But I have a special place in my heart for the vulnerable children. And you know, our children, your children, grandchildren, they should all be able to grow up without being sold by adults seeking to profit financially and place price tags on their innocence. That's what they're doing. They're putting price tags on the innocence of these vulnerable children. How evil and mean is that? But you know, Elijah Vines was convicted. He got convicted for committing sex trafficking of a minor and interstate transportation of a minor for sexual purposes. People, remember, human trafficking comes in many forms. It's not always children, and it's not always women. You've got these perverts out there everywhere wanting to harm our children and our vulnerable adults. They seek out those that are drug addicted. They seek out those that are on the fringe of society. We don't hear much about them. But I'm not going to let it rest when it comes to our children. Michelle and I at Forbidden Information, along with Stephen Corson, we're all going to stand tall for all of our children. Those in the womb, but those exploited and trafficked and human trafficked and sexually abused. We stand for all children. People, I'm Deplorable Bobby. I want to thank you for hanging in here with me for 20 minutes. I want you to pray for our children and pray for each other. Pray for me and Michelle that we'll forever do the right thing, and that we'll be able to make it to D.C. for that pro-life conference. We'll talk to you later, people. It's been good to be back in my studio again. It's been great talking to you, and I'll see you later.